Welcome to the Trailblazers podcast. This is a space where we bring you real stories from people who have chosen their own path, faced challenges head on, and continue to move forward with purpose. Through honest and meaningful conversations, we explore mindsets, life lessons, and the journeys that inspire us to reflect, grow, and take action in our own lives. In this episode, I'm in conversation with Prasath Kanagaras. Most people know him simply as PK. PK is a brand strategist, founder of Point Blank Mediaworks, a brand agency that's worked with over 400 brands across more than 10 countries. He's also created PK Speaks, a coaching and training platform that's helped thousands of entrepreneurs discover who they really are. But what makes his journey truly powerful is his core belief. From building a traditional business to realizing that the real work of branding happens inside, this is a story of alignment, purpose, and what it means to create something that actually transforms people. If you've ever wondered who you really are as a brand, whether you're building a business or building a life, this episode is for you. Stay tuned and welcome to the Trailblazers podcast. Welcome to the Trailblazers podcast, where we bring you real stories of people who are not just following the traditional paths, but they're building their own unique paths, and on their journeys, they're inspiring a lot many people. So today's guest is a very special one. You know what's interesting about branding? Everyone thinks about the logos, the colors, the websites, the social media buzz that is created, but the real branding starts from within. And the guest who is going to come and speak today is none other than Prasath Kanagaras, also famously called as PK. He's joining us from Malaysia. Thank you so much, PK, for joining us. And he's going to talk about how he has built his career around that belief of how the branding starts from within. And there is a very good slogan that I found on his website that's really struck me. It says, "No one wins unless everyone wins." And I'm going to ask him more about it. How he has built his company, how he has built his passion around all this branding, speaking, helping a lot of corporations and people like me and coaches, speakers, whatnot. Corporates and personal branding is what he does. So thank you so much, PK, for joining us today. I really appreciate your time.
My
Thank
pleasure, Sandhya.
Thank you. So, welcome to the Trailblazers podcast. So, PK, I know you mentioned earlier that you were born and brought up in Malaysia, and how did this all start? Where did you find the love for branding?
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me about how come I ended up in Malaysia. So
Oh,
that's a decision of my parents, my grandparents,
right.
How did I fall into branding? I think it was meant to be. It's always been a big thing. And India plays a big role in it, to be honest.
Hmm.
Back then, to be honest, I was a rather better student in education too, and I was actually aiming to become an engineer.
Okay.
Just like how all typical Indian families want. You want to be a doctor, lawyer, or an engineer. So in
Right.
this case, I was designed to be an engineer, but for some reasons, I didn't get a chance to go for it. For financial was one of it. So, and I had an attempt to go for one, but for some reasons, again, politically, I couldn't get what I wanted to get.
Okay.
And my dad was a taxi man. He
Okay.
drives taxi, and he's one of the best taxi driver I've seen in my life. Every single customers that he had, even on his funerals, the whole funeral, the house was flooded with so many customers were coming and saying thanks to one man. And then this man had such a blessings. If you talk to him in 5 minutes, within 5 minutes you'll fall in love with him. You'll fall in
Oh,
love with him. Sorry.
yeah.
So one fine day when I couldn't get what I wanted to achieve in education, so he told me, what else you want to do? So I told him, look, Appa, I'm a person who loves ads. I love seeing advertisements. And I quote this movie and this one advertisement. One is the movie Unbasiva.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a Kamal Hassan and Madhavan's movie.
Right.
And I also quote this ad of Indian Airlines.
Oh,
If you remember, there was one airline, there'll be a small kid will be sitting in the seat. There's an old man sitting beside. he'll be actually pretending as if he don't know how to even buckle up his seats, and how frustratingly the girl will actually guide him through, and end up he'll be sleeping in the flight. And the scene ends up with the lady, the stewardess come and say, Captain, we are about to take off. Is there anything else you need? He will say a blanket. That ad actually for somehow connected me with the way how ads are being done. So
Mhm.
India do have a big role in whatever I do today. And taking it forward, when I saw this movie Anbe Shivam, Madhavan's role is an ad creator.
Mhm.
So I saw that this is another job that we can do, virtually. So I told Dad I would love to be part of advertising group. And through his customer connections, somehow I got a chance to become a sales rep.
Okay.
And I climbed up the ladder myself. And eventually I got myself educated and stuff. And I
Wow.
think what kept me going was my passion. I love what I do.
Wow. And we can clearly see that in your face. And recently, when I met you at a Professional Speakers Summit as part of PSAI that happened in Chennai in February, you were one of the best speakers, I can say. I mean, the energy levels that you had on the stage and the slides and the messaging was spot on. And wow. And the breakout session also, I remember thoroughly. Enjoyed it. So, from working in Mediaworks, and I know you created your own company and you built it to the level where you constantly have a lot of customers that you serve. How did PK Speaks start?
That's where led back to the question you asked just now. No one wins unless everyone wins, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sandhya, every single story has a bad stories too. Very, very a turning
Right.
point that can be very a painful moment that you cannot forget.
Yeah.
So I had certain very sad experiences in my businesses, and I actually lost quite a bit of some.
Mm.
And back then, to make a change, I needed an avenue to recover.
Okay.
So that's when what I decided to do was, why not I do training?
Okay.
So when I started training without being a certified trainer, by the way, I
Mm-hmm.
created this thing called PK theory. I created
Okay.
this brand, and it was eventually we stopped it. And when we
Okay.
started that, we realized there's a great support from people that wanted me to train, or rather enjoyed my session. So I
Right.
have my mentors. Captain Ariva is one of them. So he gave me more guidances, and I thought that why not I just take it forward, and the
Mm-hmm.
revenue that I make out of this training business, I use it to recover, while
Okay.
the existing team runs the existing point blank the branding businesses. Because I've always been a consultant for the
Okay.
past 15 years, right before I become a trainer and speaker.
Right.
So after trying few sessions, I realized I think it is another way to go. So that's when we found PK Speaks.
Okay.
Yeah, if you see
Nice.
the word, my one company name is Point Blank Mediaworks. It's point blank, so it starts with P, ends with K.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's also there's lots of meaning behind it.
Mm.
Uh, and PK Speaks is on the other side. It's about me being authoritatively known out there.
Mm.
So we created this. So that's when pandemic hits us up.
Okay.
So when pandemic hits us, we had no choice but to quickly migrate ourselves into the online trainings and webinars.
Mm-hmm.
So I advocated this tagline called "No one wins unless everyone wins." So I said, "Look, guys, it is time for us to come together
Mm-hmm.
and do something together. Don't try to compete at the time of crisis." So the tagline was just to advocate the message that branding works much more powerful if you come together to win. So that's how it started. Then eventually we changed the tagline as it was rather known as motto. So when we changed the next motto, the slogan to uh, long vision, short steps,
Oh, okay.
which means we said now pandemic is coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you should focus on getting things bigger. So you can take a bigger vision, think big again, but take very calculative risk. Make short steps as you move forward. And thereafter we came out our mottos every year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a story behind PK Space. That is how I started PK Space. So
Right.
we started with doing multiple webinars. You wouldn't believe it, Sandhya. How did we do it? We actually committed to do one webinar every 2 weeks,
Wow.
and I'm talking about marketing topics that I will never repeat again. So we actually demonstrated 24 topics at 1 year.
Wow.
We managed to raise approximately 21,000 database. And the
Wow.
following year, we had another one webinars every month. And subsequently, we now go back to the stage of saying once a year. That's it. It was primarily just to focus on building database. And of course, I took the chance to demonstrate my experiences and my knowledges on those things.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's so brilliant. And just with that idea, I think you have maximized your experience and leveraged the entire philosophy of what you believe in onto the stage. That must have been really good. No wonder why you're like booked like crazy. So it was hard to get your appointment also. So thank you. I'm really stuck with the fact that how branding used to be when we were growing up. Like you mentioned, like watching the ads and all of that, and it was all only reserved for companies or corporations. And I have no idea where this personal branding came into play. Maybe in the last 5 years, 10 years. I used to think maybe celebrities always needed a personal branding and all of that. But
Yeah.
now, even people like me, I'm working on my branding thing. Everybody is working on their branding, how they want to expand themselves, how they want to find opportunities, and all of that. So, what is branding according to you?
Well, my dear, branding is an activity of building your reputation. If I do not earn respect out of the people that I want them to respect me, that means my branding is not working.
Mm,
If I
okay.
want you to know me, then that means I'm now doing my focus would be marketing activities. So branding is an additional aspect. You cannot achieve branding without marketing first and foremost, right? So, but like I always say, branding is a game of if somebody doesn't choose you, or rather, sorry, if someone doesn't know you, that means your problem is marketing.
Mhm.
When someone knows you but don't choose you, your problem is branding.
Oh.
So now, having said that, so why does it work this way? Simply because we tend to put a lots of effort in making people to acknowledge us, but we do not do anything for them to actually respect us, or rather put, or rather have a very reputable perception towards us.
Mm.
Now, back to your question, whether when did this entire personal brand started? I feel it became more visible after the age of digital, the era of digital world. You see, but let me
Mm.
tell you, personal brand has been always been there. Jesus
Right.
Christ is a personal brand. Uh, Sai Baba is a personal brand. Sadhguru is a personal brand. So this was always been there. Religions are the best marketing practitioners.
Mm.
Our brand manuals are the Bibles, Bhagavad Gita, all these things. So this ideology of communications and marketing has been always been there. It's the matter of how important it is. It is what taking place today, because both those days the avenue of us wanting to explode our personal brand was never there. You don't have enough resources to say things big time, because the
Mhm.
media doesn't give face to people who's growing. There's a lots of bureaucracy behind all these things. But today, because of the rise of social media, everybody is a personal brand.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. Like when we were looking for a job or something, how good your resume is and how well you have described yourself. That was only, I would say, maybe a brand kit.
Hmm?
Now, how well you're positioned on your LinkedIn or your Instagram and your website.
Yep.
You have any free resources? Have you done any paid gigs or whatever it is? All those are like your brand kit, right? Um, so where can anyone start if literally they're like fresh out of college?
This is a very good question. To me, in my opinion, your personal brand starts when you start, especially in your college days. In fact,
Mm,
for that matter, it starts much, much earlier in our schooling days itself.
mm,
Yeah. But it has to be out of purpose. if you do not have a directions on why you want to become a personal brand, we all are personal brand. It's a matter of being acknowledged personal brand, right?
Right.
So
Right.
if you do not have a purpose on why you should be known for something that you want to be known for, now is the problem is you have that got to be the actual reasons why it will not be how do I put it, strategic enough to be acknowledged one day. Like for
Right. Right.
example, Sandhya, you are doing this podcast. You have a purpose to it. You are speaking on the stages everywhere. You are a speaker. You're a trainer, right? And if people have to see you in this perspective, there are certain works and content that you should practice like a ritual, right? Or just like that. If you want to be known as a good student, there are certain things you got to be doing. If you want to be known as a very good leader as a student who's a good leader, then you got to put up things that you possibly can be seen by that. So who are your audiences? The teachers, the lecturers, so it goes back into a a trail like how you have that actually gonna bring you to the destination you want to go. So the
Mm-hmm.
question is, you should have a very clear reflection and foundational identity about who you are, who you wish to be part of, which kind of inner circle that you wish to be part of, and which minds that you want to impress, influence, and dominate. Because we have a very powerful thing called brains. But these brains are like a car park, There are only certain number of cars can be parked in one car park. So people will never remember everybody. So the more you consistently keep being visible out there, the more they will remember you.
Yeah, I think it totally makes sense. It's just that not everybody has access to it, and not everybody has a vision that, oh, they need to start building a brand right from the early stages, is probably where they might be losing that advantage of becoming more popular, right? And a lot of people might have started really late. Still, they might be picking up the pace by their, like you said, by their purpose, by their vision, by their consistency, or whatnot, right? So it's
True,
everybody is
true.
on their journey. Yeah.
Actually, my idea is never too late to do the right thing. And I take me for example. When I was running my point blank agency, uh, my focus was the brand, the company's
Right.
branding. So I was not even so excited about people to know me. I rather wanted them to know this. So when I shift my focus to PK Sticks, now I need to amplify my personal brand. So hence why people start seeing my content. I tried advocating. I'm keeping myself visible enough. Thank God I'm big size enough for people to identify me even from 10 kilometers away. You
Oh.
see, but whatever said and done. So I think it goes back to the objectives of how you want to be remembered, and firstly to be identified.
Hmm. I mean, it's like I'm sitting in your masterclass today. So I'm privileged to be listening to your nuggets of wisdom. So thank you very much for that. I know that you mentioned a couple of times on the stage as well that it has to start from within. And you mentioned earlier also, you have to know about your purpose, why you're doing it, and base your content around it, right? So let's say somebody is still on the path of discovering what they're really onto, what is their main purpose. You cover that as part of your trainings, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay. So how
I,
can one discover their purpose?
Sandhya, I think this is a very powerful question. Lately, I've been having this. I do coachings, right? So
Yes.
lately, I've been coaching upcoming politicians, very established entrepreneurs, but very young people
Okay.
who believe that AI is more powerful than experience. You know,
Mm,
and
okay.
and all the community they're trying to, all the community they're trying to approach, which are the AI driven community, the Gen Zs versus the non
Mm,
Gen Zs.
mm,
This is the message to them. You say, look, the biggest gift the new generation have is AI. The
right.
biggest curse that the new generation have is also AI,
Right.
because they are so replaceable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go back to the point of how do they start and what exactly they should do, there's only three processes. I think first process is very reflective session. Sometimes we wrongly sell ourselves, especially when we have a different objectives. Uh, and
Right.
this is very deep topic, to be honest. And number two, they got to be very clear with what exactly the advocacy that they're about to bring up.
Mm.
Only through this advocacy, then you decide the audiences that you're going for. Many people, many coaches, they go for the audiences first. Today we are in the world of digital, so the marketing mechanisms are changing. The blueprint of how can you uh, reach them out. Those were the days that we used to have these calculations of waste expenses. Which
Right.
means when I spend 100 million, I know that 2 million will be somehow or other reaching out the people that I don't wish to reach.
Mm.
So today that has been this topic, this terminology has been removed because it's very hard. So before you go strategic, make sure your content is strategic, because the more focused content you have, the more the content itself will bring to the right people.
Yeah. Right.
Like I said, digital marketing is never about you reaching your customers. Digital marketing is about the customers to reach you. So yes, the reflective sessions of wanting to understand who you are, what exactly you want to achieve, what you want people to talk about you, what kind of gravitas that you bring in, what characters. Look at you, Sandhya. I think amongst all the people that we saw in PSS, for some reasons I admired you and I remember you because you are very calm. You were very calm. You were one of the very important person that was coordinating the whole event. You guys did a fantastic job. For the first time, I enjoyed being in Chennai, uh, at outside during the dinner because the
Oh,
weather was so good. Remember?
yes.
So I was so
Yes.
contemplated, and I
Yeah.
think to whom I was telling my office just now, I think the one I'm gonna speak later. She's a very calm woman. When you see her, you feel a very peaceful face. She
Not so
doesn't go
much.
very active. She doesn't jump around. She doesn't crack too much of jokes. She maintains the cool, and she walks around. And that is called gravitas. So
Okay.
there are many things we need to have. Now with all these things, that's where you come with your strategic audience approach. It goes by that. So it starts with your reflective moment. You got to reflect. You got to ask. You got to really find out, is this really you want and why? Like Simon Sinek says, know your why first, right? So I think it all starts there. Reflective. A personal brand doesn't have, like in my coaching program, normally we'll have about 21 questions to reflect, answer, and right after the outcome, you re-reflect with the answers. There's another set of 7 questions. So you re-reflect and reaffirm that this is exactly what I'm talking about, because once you start, you don't turn back.
Mm.
So I think that's where you should start.
Okay.
I hope I'm not talking too much. Sorry.
No, not at all. So, in fact, I'm picking your brain because I'm also very passionate about reflective leadership. And I can resonate with what you're saying, understanding the purpose and then building the true products or services around it. And that really makes sense. So, tell me about the experience that you had working with corporates. And I know you came into this field because you were passionate about the ads and all of that, right? So, do you also sit down with the stakeholders and help them in terms of like, okay, what is the main purpose of this ad? And how are you going to attract the audience looking at it? Is that something like a reflective approach that you take with them as well?
Trust me, I always do that in every single meeting. I think
Okay,
I'm also hated for that.
painful one.
Because I have a policy that the client has to somehow convince me that they need me, and I want to work for them.
Okay.
So and of course different countries, the culture of work is very different, right? The
Right.
different countries today, we tend to see lots of different types of leadership, right?
Mhm.
We
Right.
still have autocratic leaders, we still have lots of democratic leaders, right? And I'm a person who believes that autocratic is never a wrong leadership. It was once a leadership where you had no choice but to have autocratic leaders because they are paid so expensively high to
Mm.
make such important decisions. Because the
Okay.
cost of bringing everybody back for a discussion is very expensive, right? So I deal with them. So I'll be always been very reflective. So I think, guys, you have a plan, you have an idea. And I often see this problem in this industry, my industry. I think the definitions of creativity has been badly diluted. Creativity today, for most of them, are creating wow factors.
Mm.
I don't need to entertain and impress you with my creativity when you didn't turn up to convert to buy my products. So my question will be always very reflective. What exactly we're trying to achieve? Are we meeting back the goal that you have? Is your brand philosophies are insight here? And more importantly, what is the end result you expect from your consumers? Just to buy or more than that? How do you show
Mhm.
me that you are actually seeing your customers more than just a transactions? So these questions always will come in. So they know that you better be prepared when you talk to me in the meeting.
Um, I know, PK, you worked for more than like 400 brands across 10 countries. I was reading your profile. Um, so, any particular country which you felt it was very challenging, or any particular brand story that still you recollect whenever someone asks you, okay, tell me one brand example that you worked on which was quite challenging for you.
A lot. I think if I were to quote one, the other clients will be very angry with me. Uh, but if I were to put country, I would say China.
Okay.
Or other few more countries because of the language barriers.
Hmm.
The
Okay.
problem is stories cannot be told simply by just through a decent language. Yeah, sometimes this is the practical answer. As much as we have
Right.
interpreters and we got translators, but certain
Right.
stories cannot be told in a similar way if you cannot master the art to understand the story.
Right.
So that was one of me. Clients wise, we have a lot, my dear. I think I'm talking about footwear brands, we're dealing with political brands. And one of the biggest challenge that recently we had in the previous election was we had a client who's an independent politician, and
Hmm.
and the election was announced 2 weeks right before the election. I mean, the election date was announced 2 weeks before the actual date, which means we only had 2 weeks to actually go and do your entire manifesto and your marketing. And this client has been well funded to go for an election, and it was
Right.
it was a plan to go for the ensuing election, but because he was too excited, he wanted to test the water, and he
Hmm.
went and contested at the place where we have a very big giant politicians who it is very highly the odds were very high for him to win. So I told this client, look, no, I don't think so you're going to win. But we are spending a little bit funds of all this money to go and test the water so that you can prepare for the battle of the next election, right? You're clear about this. So what's our KPI? Total votes? I said no. If you, because we are contesting with 6 candidates, and if you at any time, at any cost, became a clown in the social media, now we fail. So the game is how do not step onto their source and ensuring they don't step onto your toes, and at the same time no one on social media make fun of you because independent candidate has a curse, yeah, because independent candidates are never united.
Yeah.
This one independent candidate doesn't get support from another, but other political parties get the support from no matter where they are. So
Right.
the response ratio is different. So I said,
Hmm.
boss, remember this. If one person says anything bad or make you as a clown or turn you to become a viral content, now we fail. So we're going to be very sensitive on how you're being perceived out there. You lost, it's okay, but you still win because they never kill you.
Hmm.
If this is achieved, now we'll think about the next election. And we
Okay.
achieved it. And it wasn't easy.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. So now there's another political party if actually willing to invite him, offer him to join. But I don't know
Okay.
what's happening. Yeah, but I can tell you
Nice.
stories, a lots of stories. It's so many
Wow.
things. I
That's
think critical
amazing.
decisions are the biggest reasons why. I think one of the greatest things that I believe I experienced was I experienced amazing decisions were made at a very unexpected time and circumstances.
Hmm. Hmm. So, do you go with your gut feeling?
Honestly, I do that. I do that, but honestly, but to be very frank, Sandhya, I'm a guy who's very. I don't really. I love having my gut feelings on some personal matters, but when it comes to work, it has to make sense. So
Hmm.
I'm a person doesn't just go with the gut feeling. You better say what you know and better make sure that it convinces the board and we take it forward. Let's not try luck. We make our own lucks.
Right. 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 Awesome. I know, BK, you're a huge fan of movies, especially Indian movies. So, and we saw some sample, information on the stage as well. So, why movies, and what is the part that it plays in your branding, in your, in your happiness, entertainment? What does it play in your life?
I feel, firstly, I got two reasons for it, Sandhya. I see number one is we came from a very poor background. So opportunity to watch movies in the theaters were very limited. So we do
Hmm.
not get. My father doesn't bring us much. So the only movie or one or two, three movies that we went was Rajinikanth movies. Back in
Okay.
Malaysia, 20 years ago, I think only Rajinikanth movies runs very, very well, as usual.
Right.
And
Right.
the movie that we watched was Muthu, and I still remember it was 1996.
Nice.
At one of the moments that I had with my father, and I felt that these were the activities that always kept us a little happy and kept us away from our daily routine. Like look at Netflix and everything. I know it's there. I use Netflix for my lunch. I hardly, if I'm from the office, when my office is there, I'll be going through Netflix. But I feel I'm a person who believes that traditional entertainment cannot be forgotten.
Correct.
So even we have a cinema near my office, and I still go and visit and watch movies in the theater. And Indian
Nice.
movies, I whatever said and done, it has a huge connection to my heart. I'm an Indian too, right?
Right.
So, and I'm a big fan of Superstar. Yes, it's true. And I'm a big fan of Indian movies. Or rather, I would say I'm a big fan of comedies and fun movies.
Right. Right. That's awesome. So, there's a huge fan base in Malaysia, I know, for Indian movies, especially the South Indian
Yes,
movies.
yes.
Yes. So you're one among them. Anytime did you do any branding for any of the movie stars anywhere?
Not directly for the movie stars, but I was involved in quite a number of campaigns when they were the brand when the brand connections were there. So there was
Oh,
quite a number of them. Uh, I was involved in some marketing works of some movies because I used to work. We had projects with Disney movies, some India movies. So we did a lot. We did a lot. We were the
right.
one that normally will handle the hype marketing that is needed for those days when a movie is
Yeah.
about to be released. They'll put up billboards and everything, right? So we were involved
Uh-huh.
in it.
Oh, nice. Interesting. So I have a surprise round for you, PK, and I know you'll ace it because you're the branding guru. I thought I'll devise a fun round for you. So it is going to be like a mini session, I would say. So bear with me as I ask you these questions. Okay. So just imagine that you've just been handed a remote, unnamed island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Okay? So there's absolutely no brand, no visitors, and no name yet. So your job is to get tourists there. Okay? So we're building this brand live right now. So there are 8 questions, and I'm going to ask you, and so I'm not going to time it, but I'm going to ask you. So the
So
name,
just to understand, it's an island that no name, no brand, nothing. I'm
nothing is
supposed to
there.
guide a tourist there.
So we
Okay,
need to bring tourists there,
okay,
and we are giving you the branding responsibility. You're the branding expert, so we need to
okay.
bring the
Interesting, very
tourists.
interesting.
So I was thinking, what should I ask you? And then I was like, okay, I'm like, why don't I come up with a mini game? So, okay. So what would you name the island? One word.
In one word,
Yeah, 1 or 2 words, whatever it is. Yeah.
uh, I would call it the laughter island.
Oh, wow. Okay, I like that. Okay, so one line tagline that makes someone drop everything and book a flight.
Then maybe I would say uh, the gathering of great minds.
Wow, that's nice. Okay, so who is your tourist database? I mean, not a demographic, but a real person. Who is the ideal tourist that you would want to have on the island?
This might uh, spill out certain things that I've never been speaking about. I
Okay.
think the most unfortunate but most well deserving community in this world are mothers. So I would
Mm,
rather want to have a beautiful island only meant for the moms.
okay. Wow, that's nice. So your ideal tourist for this island is
Only
only moms. That's special. Yes. Okay. The one experience only this island can offer, where not even Mauritius, not even Maldives can offer. Sorry for my Maldives friends, but okay, let's say Mauritius. I don't want to get into trouble. So the only experience that this island can offer.
strictly no men are allowed and leave
Okay.
the moms peacefully alone with the other moms.
Okay, except for the people who are organizing it. Okay.
Uh,
So what do you think is the best brand color that you would choose for that?
thing when it comes to mom, I think the most beautiful color I could always connect with is yellow and pink.
Yellow and pink. Okay. Okay. So on Instagram or word of mouth, which one would you prefer for branding this particular island?
Well, I think I would always go for Instagram because Instagram still has the core of keeping the message intact because word of mouth can always go wrong.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Because we are translating and we are actually interpreting something that we hear. Biggest
Mm,
war is happening today in this whole world is because of interpretations, misinterpretations, right?
right,
So I
right.
feel that Instagram can still have a more stronger hold and
Yeah.
they're getting it not gone out. I keep the content. You just viral the content.
Okay. Okay. So at least it doesn't get misinterpreted or
Yes.
misused or something, right? So one thing you would never allow on this island.
One thing I'll never allow in this island, I think gossips.
Hmm. But moms gossip, right?
There are many moms doesn't gossip. They share good things.
Okay. So this is only for those deserving, the special
The deserving,
people
right? Underline that word,
deserving.
deserving. Not.
So gossiping is not allowed on this island.
You know why I
Awesome.
say that, my dear? I feel the life of a man is again to all the men who's listening. I'm on your side. I think a true gentleman, a true man would agree with me on this. Like I think whatever said and done, I think the life of a woman is very different. That's why Women's Day is celebrated so well. It's because when you're at the age of 0 to 10, you are the best baby that be the actual happiness of a family. When once you become 11 to 20 years old, you are the best student that makes your parents proud. When you're 21 to 30, you are the best lover because you're going to be your role is to show more love and you're going to have a boyfriend. When you're at the age of 30 to 40, you are the best wife. You became the assistant and the main source of happiness for a man. At the age of 40 to 50, you become the best mom. You nurture the next love of life. You make sure the family is taken care. At the age of 50 to 60, you actually become the general manager of the family, managing the whole family on behalf of the husband. And at the age of 60 onwards, you start preparing yourself for the grandkids, and you start putting another role of your life, which is praying for the family. So look at them. Forever they are doing something for others. So hence why
Mm.
I feel that they deserve a beautiful island only for themselves.
So listen, I mean, to all the audience, especially the women audience, I'm going to put a tagline. You should definitely not miss this segment of the podcast. And I'm going to put this a clip, a magic clip, especially for the women. As I mean, beautifully said. Thank you so much. I take
You
that as a
know,
compliment. As
echoing that, Sandhya, in one of the interview or one of the stage, Rajini said this. He said that when people ask for a boy, God said, okay, you go down, you become the son, you become the son, you become the son. God instruct everybody around him to become son. But if he wanted a daughter, he said, no, 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 no. I will go down there to be the daughter.
oh,
He quoted his daughters. So
hmm,
that's what I think the power of women, and I think without them,
wow,
life is just meaningless for us.
yeah. That's beautifully said, and I appreciate it. And I think your mom should see this segment as well. And I'm sure you're going to dedicate this message to her as well. So the
Oh
last
yes,
question of this round. So last question of this round is: so now you're going to sell this island as part of advertising to our listeners in one sentence. So what would be your elevator pitch?
the only way of saying thank you is by allowing your mom to be part of us.
Oh my God. No wonder why you're the branding expert, PK. Because it's like no hesitation, nothing, no preparation. You even give him an island and he's going to sell it in 5 minutes. So that is PK to the audience.
Because you're selling it
So
to
we,
the people who are going to send the moms, right? So why do you want to
Mhm.
send? Because this is the only way you can say thank you to her.
Ah, okay. But beautiful. So you played it so well, and we can all see how your experience, makes you the perfect person to even sell an island without any name or any brand. So that is PK to the audience. All right. Wow. Beautiful conversation and a lot of wisdom that you shared so far, PK. Any special message that you would like to share to the audience? Anything?
I think the world of AI is slowly replacing authenticity. So I feel lately I feel character assassinations and fake news sharing is destroying the world. If you want to be a responsible, authentic personality or brand, you must remember that the world is meaningless without humans. Yeah, there's one thing you cannot replace is humans, whether how imperfect or perfect they are. So whatever you do, whatever business you do, be mindful that God is watching us. So don't spread fake news. Don't even share negative news if you don't know the real source. And more importantly, don't assassinate characters. We should find more reasons to be happy and cherish this life. And let's work and let's make this world to be a better place.
Beautiful, beautiful message and completely authentic. It resonates with everybody. And you're on a mission to help out not just brands, but also a lot of individuals. So I can see how you're so well connected with everybody.
And
So,
just to add on, my dear, one of my biggest mission right now is as I've seen enough clients, I've seen enough business, I've seen. I mean, I'm not a millionaire, but I'm a strong believer of this very simple message that I think 90% people in this world, they're very very poor because they only have money. You know, so I'm a person who believes happiness is very very important, and to the generations of tomorrow, which I'm so excitedly been helping, even if to those who are listening to this podcast, if you have a college, if you have a students group that is currently pursuing the education in colleges or universities, I have launched this program called LinkedIn Mastery, Campus to Career. I'm advocating the fact that students today must understand LinkedIn is not a platform for them to look for a job. LinkedIn is a platform for the jobs to look for you. So you
right.
can make your future ready by putting the right content on social media, be visible, be more responsible, and expose who you are. And I think
Mm.
your future is very much more secure. And I've been advocating this in many colleges and universities for free. I've been giving my time and I've been coaching them. I'm giving them masterclass. So
Yeah.
yes, that is another thing that I've been focusing. One of my biggest focus after this.
Yeah. I know you're such a authentic and genuine person when it comes to training and feeding forward. We have seen that multiple times. So, PK, what is your next legacy that you're trying to build apart from training and helping a lot of brands and individuals? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I have to ask because I'm like a coach, you know that.
Well, I think your book has one of the very good role in it.
Oh,
I think
thank you.
I love. I mean, I read your whole book. I think I messaged you the other day. I
Yes,
got this
yes, thank you.
policy when someone gives me their book by with their signature, I will be so obliged to treat the book more than the book that I buy.
Oh my God, thank you so much. That
I've been
meant a
reading.
lot.
Currently I'm reading Mithil's book, um, I think I'm also looking forward to buy Praveen Shekhar's book. I missed it the other day. Please tell him
Okay.
this. But
Sure, I will.
one thing that I would just want to connect the book that you gave me with my future directions. I think redefining richness, like how you had it in your chapters, that thing was a very very powerful, not eye opener, but something that I got so connected to.
Mm.
So I feel we all are wrongly defining richness. Like what Sadhguru says. In the end of the day, how much of money have you still working? When are you going to have your own time? Until when? So I feel my next vision of life is planning my retirement, and I've done enough and I've earned enough experience. So now I want to make the experience to work for me. So I'm building an empire. I'm building an institute that is very much driven by marketing and branding. And I'm
Okay.
also creating a marketing community that's going to be filled with readers, certain traditional approaches on how consumers' world can be redefined through more genuine approaches through marketing and branding.
That's awesome. I think in this process, you're building a huge network and the connections that are going to help you serve your purpose as well. So I'm wishing you all the very best from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think sadly, I want to close this for today's session, but I wanted to also talk to you about your book, right? So the books that you have published, and maybe you have some more on your path. Um, so, what is the story about your book?
Okay. See, sometimes over marketing also will kill you. So now let me tell you the hot story. The book is not out yet. So
Mm.
for some reasons, when we started announcing about my book titled Brandology, 2 years, I think to be honest, 3 years ago, if one fine day Bhavani reads or other listens to this podcast, she gonna kill me because she's been chasing me for this. And we have created the book, and for some reasons, when we announce it in our webinars, we have gotten quite a number of people who have already pre-booked the book, and the book is still not out yet. I am not as good as you, Sandhya. When I saw all of you on the stage, I was feeling so embarrassed. How you all are doing this, and then when I was telling them, you all
We
are
will
so
make
big.
it happen at the next PSS.
Yeah. The problem is
Yeah.
what happened actually, Sandhya. The book was almost done. It's called Brandology. It
Yes,
is
I saw that title.
completely a different book from what everybody might think. It's going to be a different book, trust me. And by the time it was almost to be launched, that was when the political campaign was going on, and my car
Okay.
was robbed, and
Oh,
my laptop was stolen, and for some silly reasons, I didn't save this entire thing into my drive.
oh no.
So
Okay.
and then of course, since it was written by me, it wasn't that tough for me to rewrite it. That's when Chat GPT was launched. And I started seeing many people coming out their own books in months. So
Mm.
these things demotivated me, and I had this inferior of what people might think that this guy has been using uh, AI to get this book up. So I was having this thing until all my office people and my colleagues in the office, my clients started chasing me up and saying, no, 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 you got to do this. So now the book is in process. I can happily tell you all, to the audiences also, it's coming in this year. Stay tuned.
Awesome.
It's going to be extremely different. Thanks to all of you. I think India's books were so amazing. Every time when I read one book, I see what I don't want to do and I see what I want to do, meaning which I wanted to be a little different. The biggest
Yeah,
battle today in business, Sandhya, is not everybody's trying to be the best. I don't
correct,
believe in that. We should at least try to be different, right? So the
correct.
book is coming. Yes, please. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, the book is not published yet. Only the cover is published,
no worries.
but
We're
we are
going to have
almost there.
another episode. We're going to have another episode talking about your book when it's out. So
Yes,
I'll be looking forward for that.
it's
So
almost there.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for authentically sharing about it so transparently. And
It's in a form of a pressure to me to make sure the book is out too.
no, no, no. In a nice, supportive way. Yeah. But thank you so much, PK. I really appreciate your time, your genuine and honest and most transparent, grounded conversation that I had with you, like always. So it's a pleasure to stay in touch with you, and I wish you all the very best. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in Malaysia very soon.
See you, my friend.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. To the audience, I hope you liked this episode. The authentic conversation that I had with PK. He's another trailblazer who found his own path and he found his purpose and passion. And he keeps striving and working so hard to help support many companies and many individuals. So thank you, PK, for all the work that you do. Wish you all the very best. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
for
audience.
hosting me well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Keep blazing the trail. Wish you all the very best to the audience. Thank you. Thank you so much.